The mighty Nile River, a name that echoes through millennia of history, has recently become the center of an unprecedented event. News broke that the Egyptian government made a significant decision. They decided to seal off a section of this legendary waterway. This wasn't a minor adjustment or a temporary diversion, it was a deliberate strategic closure. This action, taking place after July 2023, sent ripples of surprise and concern far beyond Egypt's borders. The Nile is more than just water, it's the lifeblood for millions, a symbol of civilization, and a critical resource in an arid region. Such a move is bound to have profound consequences, sparking debates and questions worldwide. Imagine the scene, a part of the world's longest river, a river that has flowed freely for eons, suddenly controlled. The reasons behind such a monumental step are complex, rooted in pressing national concerns. Egypt, a nation deeply intertwined with the Nile's rhythm, faces immense challenges. Water scarcity is a growing threat across the globe, and for desert nations like Egypt, it's an existential issue. This sealing is a bold, perhaps even risky maneuver. It signals a new chapter in the age-old story of humans and the great rivers they depend on. We are talking about a decision that could reshape landscapes, economies, and even international relations. The very idea of sealing a portion of the Nile conjures powerful images. It speaks to the level of control Egypt aims to exert over its primary water source. This isn't just about dams or reservoirs in the usual sense. It implies a more comprehensive intervention. Oh, why would Egypt take such a dramatic step as sealing off part of the Nile? The primary driver is water management and conservation. Egypt is one of the most water-scarce countries on Earth. Its population is growing rapidly, putting immense pressure on its limited water resources. The Nile is virtually the sole source of fresh water for its over 100 million people. For decades, Egypt has relied on its historical share of the Nile's waters. But with climate change impacting rainfall patterns in the Nile basin and upstream developments altering flow, that reliance feels increasingly precarious. This move is seen by the government as a way to gain more control. The Egyptian government has emphasized that this strategic decision is aimed at addressing these critical issues. They are trying to ensure that every drop of water is used efficiently. This could involve redirecting water to newly reclaimed desert lands for agriculture. It might also be about bolstering reserves in Lake Nasser, behind the Aswan High Dam. Conservation is a huge part of this. By controlling a section, they might be aiming to reduce water loss through evaporation or seepage in certain areas. It's a high-stakes gamble to safeguard national water security. The government believes this is essential for survival and development. The immediate consequences of sealing a section of the Nile were felt swiftly by local communities. For people living along the affected stretch, the river is not just a scenic backdrop, it's their daily lifeline. Reports quickly emerged of disruptions to water supply for domestic use. Villages that relied directly on the river for drinking, cooking, and sanitation faced sudden challenges. Access to clean water became a pressing concern. This created hardship and uncertainty for many families. Their age-old relationship with the Nile was abruptly altered. This forced them to seek alternative sources or await government assistance, which can take time. Agriculture, the backbone of many local economies along the Nile, was heavily impacted. Farmers who depend on Nile water for irrigation found their livelihoods under threat. Fields that once flourished with crops faced the risk of drying out. This directly affected food production at a local level. It also raised concerns about broader food security within Egypt. The timing and extent of the water reduction would determine the severity of the impact on harvests. Small-scale farmers, often operating with slim margins, were particularly vulnerable. They lacked the resources to adapt quickly to such a sudden change in water availability. The economic repercussions of sealing a part of the Nile extend beyond the immediate agricultural sector. The local economy in the affected regions, significantly dependent on the river, faced substantial challenges. Businesses that rely on Nile water, such as small-scale industries or tourism-related enterprises like felucca rides or riverside cafes, experienced downturns. A reduction in agricultural output can lead to job losses. It can also cause rising food prices, impacting household budgets. The ripple effects can spread through the entire local economic fabric, creating a challenging environment for recovery and growth. Furthermore, any disruption to the Nile's flow can have implications for larger industries. These include those that draw water for manufacturing processes or use the river for transportation of goods. While the Aswan High Dam already regulates much of the Nile's flow through Egypt, further interventions can create new variables. The cost of adapting to these changes, such as investing in alternative water sources or more efficient irrigation, can be substantial. This places an additional burden on businesses and the national economy. The government's plan likely includes measures to mitigate these economic shocks. However, the transition period is often difficult. The news of the Nile sealing also had an impact on investor confidence, at least initially. Cross-border currents, regional tensions rise. Egypt's decision to seal off a section of the Nile sent waves of concern across the region. The Nile is a shared resource with 11 countries in its basin. Any unilateral action by Egypt raises alarms among its neighbors. Sudan, located upstream, is particularly watchful of changes to the river's flow. Historical agreements and ongoing disputes form a complex backdrop. This move increased tensions among neighboring countries. Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam has been a point of contention. Egypt's action could be seen as an escalation. This complicates delicate negotiations. It could lead to a hardening of positions. The international response was swift. Diplomatic discussions are ongoing. The international community favors cooperative frameworks for managing shared water resources. Nature's balance environmental questions emerge. Beyond the human and political ramifications, sealing a section of the Nile raises significant environmental concerns. Rivers are complex ecosystems, and altering their flow can have cascading effects on biodiversity and ecological balance. Environmentalists have voiced worries about the potential long-term impacts. These include changes to fish migration patterns, the health of riverside vegetation, and the overall quality of water downstream from the sealed section. The delicate balance that has evolved over millennia could be disrupted, leading to unforeseen consequences for flora and fauna that depend on the river's natural rhythm. One major concern is the impact on sediment transport. The Nile has historically carried nutrient-rich silt from the Ethiopian highlands, depositing it on the floodplains of Egypt and creating fertile agricultural land. The Aswan High Dam already traps much of this sediment. Further alterations to the river's flow could exacerbate this issue. This might necessitate increased reliance on chemical fertilizers, which have their own environmental costs. Changes in water levels and flow rates can also affect groundwater recharge. This is crucial for wells and oases away from the immediate riverbank. The Egyptian government has assured that measures are being taken to mitigate negative environmental impacts. Sands of time reveal archaeological windfalls. In a fascinating and perhaps unexpected turn of events, the period surrounding Egypt's focus on the Nile has coincided with remarkable archaeological discoveries. While not directly caused by the sealing of a river section itself, the heightened activity and national attention on major projects can sometimes create opportunities or context for new finds. It's as if the land itself is revealing more of its ancient secrets. Major archaeological discoveries have been made, adding another dimension to the regional impact. These finds offer precious glimpses into Egypt's rich past, a history inextricably linked to the Nile. One of the most significant recent finds occurred in Luxor, the site of ancient Thebes. This area, on the banks of the Nile, is a treasure trove of pharaonic history. After July 2023, a joint U.S.-Egypt archaeology team unearthed a 4,000-year-old tomb. This tomb is believed to have belonged to a high-ranking official from ancient Egypt. Such discoveries are invaluable. They provide fresh insights into the lives of the people who built one of the world's greatest civilizations. Each artifact, each inscription, adds another piece to the immense puzzle of ancient Egyptian culture, their beliefs, and their societal structures. These archaeological endeavors are often painstaking and require immense dedication. Luxor's Lost Tombs Whispers from the Middle Kingdom. Diving deeper into the archaeological news, a particularly stunning discovery was announced in November 2024. A joint Egyptian-American archaeological team revealed the excavation of 11 sealed burials. These were found within an ancient tomb in Luxor's South Asasif necropolis. This necropolis is located on the Nile's west bank close to the famous Temple of Hatshepsut. What makes this find even more special is its age. The burials date back to Egypt's Middle Kingdom period, specifically between 1938 BCE and 1630 BCE. This tomb is thought to have been a family resting place, used for generations. Inside this Middle Kingdom tomb, archaeologists found the remains of men, women, and children. While ancient floods had unfortunately damaged many of the wooden coffins and linen wrappings, several extraordinary artifacts survived intact. Among these treasures was a beautiful necklace from a woman's burial. It featured 30 amethyst beads and 2 cylindrical agate beads with a striking hippo head amulet at its center. Such items tell us about the craftsmanship of the era. Future currents, water, heritage, and tourism. Looking ahead, Egypt is navigating a complex path. It must manage its precious water resources while also leveraging its unparalleled cultural heritage to boost its economy, particularly through tourism. The decision to seal a section of the Nile, while controversial, is part of a broader strategy. This strategy aims to ensure a stable water supply for the future. Egypt is reportedly exploring alternative water management strategies. It plans to invest heavily in infrastructure such as desalination plants and advanced irrigation systems to reduce its overwhelming reliance on the Nile's direct flow. The recent archaeological discoveries play a crucial role in Egypt's vision for its tourism sector. This sector is a vital source of foreign currency and employment. While events like the Nile sealing might create temporary uncertainty for some tourists, the allure of new spectacular finds often attracts significant international interest. The Egyptian government is working to manage these contrasting impacts. They are actively promoting these discoveries to draw visitors. The goal is to showcase Egypt as a dynamic destination where history is constantly being unearthed, offering ever-new reasons to visit. A cornerstone of these tourism development efforts is the Grand Egyptian Museum, or GEM. As Egypt looks to the future, the road ahead is filled with both hopeful prospects and formidable challenges. The nation is at a crossroads where strategic decisions made today will determine the fate of its water resources, heritage, and economic stability for generations to come. The government's investment in desalination plants and advanced irrigation systems is a significant step forward. These initiatives aim to mitigate the overwhelming reliance on the Nile, ensuring a more sustainable and diversified water supply. However, the success of these projects will require substantial financial investments and technological advancements, coupled with effective governance and international cooperation. On the cultural front, the Grand Egyptian Museum stands as a beacon of Egypt's commitment to preserving and showcasing its rich history. This state-of-the-art facility is not just a repository of ancient artifacts, but also a symbol of national pride and a magnet for global tourism. The challenge lies in balancing the preservation of heritage with the demands of modern tourism, ensuring that the influx of visitors does not compromise the integrity of these priceless treasures. Moreover, regional tensions over water rights and environmental concerns add layers of complexity to Egypt's future planning. Diplomatic negotiations and regional collaborations will be crucial in maintaining stability and fostering mutual benefits among neighboring countries. In conclusion, Egypt's journey towards securing its future is a delicate dance between innovation and tradition, between immediate needs and long-term vision. The steps taken today will echo through the corridors of time, shaping the destiny of this ancient land. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the unfolding story of Egypt's quest for sustainability and prosperity. As Egypt navigates its intricate web of future prospects and challenges, the international community watches closely. Global reactions range from supportive alliances to cautious diplomacy. Countries with vested interests in the Nile Basin, such as Sudan and Ethiopia, voice their concerns and aspirations, each aiming to secure their share of the precious water resource. International organizations like the United Nations and the African Union step in, advocating for cooperative frameworks and equitable water-sharing agreements. On the policy front, global powers such as the United States, China, and the European Union weigh in, offering technological assistance and financial aid to bolster Egypt's sustainability initiatives. These collaborations are not just about diplomacy, but also about securing geopolitical influence in a region of strategic importance. Furthermore, environmental groups worldwide raise alarm bells about the potential ecological impacts of large-scale projects like desalination plants and advanced irrigation systems. They call for stringent environmental assessments and sustainable practices to ensure that progress does not come at the expense of the planet. In this complex mosaic of global reactions and policies, Egypt finds itself at the heart of a multifaceted dialogue. The nation's ability to navigate these international waters will significantly influence its path toward a sustainable and prosperous future. Join us next time as we delve deeper into the evolving dynamics of Egypt's journey.